All right, Brandy. Yep. Welcome to Jack Dodson'S Racing Insider News this week. Brandy's on her best behavior today. Got to thank our marketing partners, WALTRIP Pressure Washing and Solutions, which it looks like he just had surgery for something.
Yeah, appendix surgery. I
So,
thought another day.
turn to synthetic.
Synthetic. Turn to synthetic.
Damn. Turn to synthetics. The pizza's in the way, Jack.
Okay.
And then we got to give a shout out, which I think is this weekend or this Friday, is the Battlefield Golf Course, the Dave Millard Medical Relief Charity. So please sponsor a hole or play, whatever you want. GRIER and Associates with Mean Dean Automotive. Safety Clean, Performance Plus Motor Oil, Langley Speedway, Bondurant Brothers Distillery, Mayhem Management, MPM Marketing, Black Acid Racing Apparel. We got some new stuff, Jack. Huh?
I'm gonna tell you, I did not expect all that he sent me today. Nice. I mean, I didn't expect it. All I said is I wanted a tumbler. Nice. I ended up getting like 25 of them.
The show is presented by Gen X Motorsports and Driver Development, Slinger Speed, VA 811, call before you dig, Factory Canopies and Fluid Logic. Food tonight is presented by Papa John's.
And I'll tell you what, I'm sure I'm glad it showed up tonight because Brandy was going to have a fit.
She was going to be hangry.
I mean, every time she comes, we don't have it.
It was starting to be a trend, right? GAC, Great American Company. With that, there was some good racing this weekend, Jack.
Really good, and here at Langley, a lot of good racing here in Langley, but
I mean, no fights here this weekend, just fights in the Cup Series.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I thought it was pretty cool that Noah Gregson, went up and grabbed him, and Chastain just popped him one time, and that was the end of that conversation.
I know, but did you see the interview afterwards? He's like, yeah, we trained together, and I'm not scared. So I'm not scared to do something during the training event. So,
all right, the Cup winner was Denny Hamlin. The Truck Series winner was Grant Enfinger. And the ARCA Series, Jesse Love got the win. And in the Truck Series, Rajay had a great run going, and then he just kind of had a little incident.
Rookie mistake.
So, at Madison Speedway for the Joe Shear Memorial Race up there, Ty Majeski ends up getting the win. Dan Fredrickson was disqualified. He had a little thing about his.
Shane said it's going to be an epic show.
Anyway, Ty Majeski got the win. Bubba Pollard finished second. Gage Summers was third, and Casey Roderick was fourth. At Dillon Speedway in the late models, Justin Hicks got the win. At Bowman Gray, their modifieds, Kim Brown got the win. Up at Sobo, late models, Peyton Sellers got dual wins, but got both wins up there. At Monadnock for the Wheeling Modified Series, Doug Kobe. Wake County, late model, Tyler Matthews. And in the Legends, Phoenix Kimball finally got her first win.
That was cool.
I thought that was pretty cool, too.
Awesome.
At Southern National this past weekend, John Gowen got the late model win, number 1. Adam Murray, number 2. The Bandos, Sarah Weitzel got the win in the first race. Brian Runstrom Jr. got the win in the second race. The Legends race was won by Rodney Dallas. At Dominion, Bando race number 1 was won by Brian Runstrom. Bando race number 2 was run by Addison Schumann. And I understand that was a pretty big win up there for her to get that win. Must have been because the Mafia was out again this week. So, so anyway, in the Legends, Connor Weedell.
That's seaweed, we call him.
Seaweed, okay. In the Virginia Modifieds, Shannon Morano got the win. In the regular Dominion Modifieds, Kayla Searles got the win. And in the Virginia Racers, Davey Callahan won both of the Virginia Racers races up there. And at Dixieland, Super Street winner was Colton Stevens. All-Stars late models Brent Robinson. Sportsman Division Mark Gonzalez. Super Fours Ricky Waters. Stock Fours Rylan Lindsay. And then here at Langley Speedway, I didn't even get who won the kart race. We were down there and I never got
Won the what?
the karts. Who won the karts?
Oh,
I didn't.
Hudgens.
Hudgens,
yeah,
yes,
Ryan
yes.
Hudgens.
I didn't even see it because we were down there.
We were eating.
Yeah. Late model race number 1, Connor
Imagine
Hall.
that.
Late model race number 2, Connor Hall. So he is 4 for 4 to start the season off. And I did not think he was going to make it back to the front after that, in the second race.
I mean, the first twin, I didn't think he was either. But he's definitely got it figured out. I mean, he's the guy to beat.
In the Super Streets, Gordon Weeks got the win. Super Trucks, Hunter Waltrip got the win. Pro 6, Travis Wall got the win, but I'm going to tell you what, there's a kid catching him. There's a kid catching him. I almost thought he had him the other night. Passing him was going to, like Daddy said, passing him was going to be one thing, but getting to him, I think he was dialing him in real fast. So, ATLEY WIESE finished second in that race, so we'll talk about that again in a few minutes. And then there's they call it the Virginia Racers here at Langley Speedway.
What was that kid doing?
Some kid won that race, but all you know is I understand they got to replace the porch down there because Brandy was stomped all over.
And her hand.
Yeah. Anyway, Jacob Derrick got the win, and I thought that was he led it from start to finish. Great win for him, and I think that's really cool to see him win the race. Also, the North Wilkesboro, Jeff Hammond wanted to mention that the open house for North Wilkesboro is May the 10th from 5 to 9. They're going to have a light show. They're going to have all kinds of stuff. Drivers are going to come in and do autographs. So they're going to have a big thing going on down there. So if you get a chance to go down to North Wilkesboro and do that. And we want to send our best out to Hunter Waltrip. So, he gets a win and then he goes and has
I wonder if he'll slow down any.
Probably not. So anyway, all right. In honor of Mother's Day, I put this show together to bring out the people that really are.
What'd Shane say? The housewives of Langley Speedway?
Well, one of them is not from, when she comes on, she's not from Langley, so we couldn't call it that. I was going to call it that. But
You should have.
we couldn't do that with Heather coming on. But anyway, in honor of Mother's Day, we've got 2 mothers. And actually, this is what, they're the ones with the backbones of these race teams. They're the big support. Even Brandy. Brandy can wheel that car from up there. She knows what she's doing. So anyway, we got Cassie Weiss with us, Brandy Marshall, and then we're going to have Heather ZSCHIEDRICH. ZSCHIEDRICH? I don't know how you say her name. ZSCHIEDRICH. Okay, I was right the first time. So anyway, we're glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, tell us all about the win the other night. I know you was, how many times did you stomp up and down through there? And
Not much. I moved.
we all know better than that.
No, I wasn't in the stands. I was over,
Yeah, I know.
but I didn't do as much.
Just trying to behave, Jack.
Why were you trying to behave? Are you very vocal when you do something? I don't know.
No, it was a good race. The caution, I got flashbacks, but then I was happy. But it was good.
He did a great
He
job.
did.
Really
No,
think
I'm
about
very
it.
proud of him.
Do you listen to the radio?
No, I thought about doing that, but I don't. He had someone else spotting for him. Daniel Folds this time. Ricky usually spots, but
How come Ricky didn't spot?
Jacob asked for that guy too,
Mhm.
and I think he told him Riley was coming or something. I don't know. Ricky doesn't normally say that when they're coming, so we think that's why. I don't know. Riley was fast.
Now,
He was there at the end of
Yes.
the long run.
So you've been around this racing game for a long time with Ricky and now with Jacob. What was harder, watching Ricky race or watching Jacob?
Jacob.
Do you get excited? I mean, do you get nervous when you see certain things going on out there?
Yes, I don't like a start or a restart or lap cars. In the middle.
In other words, she don't like much with a race. So how I see he's run bandos.
He's done the karts,
Bandos, the carts.
legends, and then Limited.
So he's.
I feel safer in this car with him.
Well,
He can bump more and not like flip.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be cool. Now, how many races? You said Ricky didn't win any races?
No. He won 5 champions.
I know he won
back to back, but I was telling Jacob, 1 year, I don't think Ricky won
Oh,
one
okay,
race,
1 year,
but he
okay.
finished top 3. So you could still win them, just if you're smart.
Yeah.
All right, let's get Heather involved here. She's sitting there waiting. I know she's ready to get involved and talk with us.
Oh gosh, who was that?
Hey Heather, how are you?
Hi, Heather.
Hi.
You know these two here?
Yeah. Well,
Who's that behind you? Now that the screen's locked.
if I was it locked up.
It locked up or something. I don't know what the deal was, but he came out and the camera locked. Anyway, we were talking to Brandy about Jacob winning his first race the other night in the Virginia Racers. So I thought that was a pretty good deal for him. So
Yeah. So,
I think we got a problem with your hookup down there. Something's not.
we're gonna make sure.
It's the internet.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
In and out.
well,
Everybody's here.
something's not doing right on your end. She might need to sign off and come back in.
Okay.
Yeah, sign off and come back in again. Let's try that again. Anyway,
Alrighty, I'll do that.
Oh, now it's good.
we'll let her try it again. Anyway.
Now open the front.
Now we got Cassie. How long has ATLEY been racing, and what all has he raced in?
I'm newer to the racing crowd, but he raced karts at HRKC for 3 years, I think. And then bandoliers for 2 years. And this is his first year in a full-size car, learning the stick shift and all of that good stuff. He's racing the Pro 6 out here at Langley. He's had 2 races in that. And he's getting his feet wet in the legend car, and he's had a couple races in that, some seat time in that down in North Carolina.
And he's got, he's driving with Dylan Spain Motorsports. I mean, that's one of the best there is as far as the legends cars. And
Absolutely.
So you can.
And that's how I know Heather, because AIDEN and ATLEY are teammates at DSM.
Oh, okay.
Because that's who AIDEN drives for in his Bandolero.
Maybe we can get her back on here now.
Is she there?
Hey guys, you there?
Oh, we got you now. We got you now. All right, we got Heather ZSCHIEDRICH has joined us from Raleigh, and we're going to be with you in just a second. I'm going to finish here with Cassie for a minute. What did you think about the race the other night? He was coming on at the end of the.
He was. He got second in his first race ever in the Pro 6, and he got second in his second race. But the gap between he and Travis from the first race to the second race was much smaller. And it's going to keep getting smaller.
We were discussing earlier. It was an interesting conversation. We discussed earlier that could he beat Scott Allen? And
you raced those. Did he race?
I didn't.
No, but Scott rode the Pro 6 last year.
Right.
He was out there with the Pro 6s last year. And we were making the comment that ATLEY could probably throw it in reverse and outrun and still outrun Scott. I think
You never know.
I'm pretty sure what I'm talking. I mean, did you ever get that close to Travis as he got the other night?
Yeah, but Travis doesn't give you everything. Like, you'll catch him and then he'll pull away, and then
Well,
you catch him and then he'll pull away.
He pulled away a couple times, but ATLEY come back on him again. I mean, it didn't stay that way. So,
To be honest, Travis is just riding. He's still got a little work to do, but it's a lot better. But he's doing a good job. He ran his fastest lap in the Pro 6.
He ran his fastest time that he has so far.
and you know what it was? Put some stickers on that car too. So you see what happened?
Exactly what it was.
Yeah, it didn't help me.
Yeah.
I put the whole hood and it didn't help me. He said the bigger sticker, the faster it'd be.
No, the problem is you have to have a real sticker. I mean, you can't go out and make them and put them on there.
It
That's what he
has to
did.
come from you.
Yes, it has to be under my hands to be able to see
Yeah,
that work.
okay.
We have the official stickers.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I went out there and personally handed it to them, so they, they're.
And I put them on,
Yeah, she's
so they're nice and
she's a
straight and
sticker
everything.
person. She's a sticker person. All right, Heather, we're gonna come to you now and give us a little update on Aiden, what all he's got going on this year.
Oh my gosh. You know how racing season starts, really busy. We've got weight coming up. Excited about that always. So let's see, other than school and racing and drones, I think that's a pretty full schedule.
He's got a lot going on. I saw the drone thing, and I thought that was really cool. I mean, he's really involved in some stuff there that really, that's interesting.
We need drones for racing.
Hey, I'd like to see some drones. I'd like to see some drones out here hanging around.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's right. Justin just hit me up, said he did. He's had one out there. I didn't see him.
The Kimballs have one up and going all the time.
Oh really?
Yeah, they send us a lot of really cool footage and great stuff of the track as well.
Yeah. Now let's talk a little bit how Aiden got started in racing and everything. I mean, he's got a background where he's got a lot. He had the back surgery and everything. Tell us a little bit how he got started and how things are going. Aiden
has been a car fanatic forever. He's got pretty much every car there is. He 5th grade reading assignments every night, so he read the NASCAR encyclopedia. He decided that would be his reading. He really got into that, and I never imagined loving racing until he explained everything, and it's the most exciting sport out there.
How are you as a mother watching him race? Do you get excited? We know Brandy gets a little excited when she sees
Yes. Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, the first year you cringe constantly until you see, they're going to be okay. And, you start getting used to seeing that. You still get nervous when, there's a ton of cars around them. But I don't know. I love it. Cheer him on. I still try to get into his bando, and because I want to drive it, but they won't. I just want to drive it around.
Well, they have to let you get out there and practice it at one time.
I know. I just need to sneak out there and do it. Tell Dylan to bring the car out, and I'll just, try it out.
He had that big wreck not too long ago. I mean,
Yeah,
that was a huge wreck.
at the beginning of the year.
One of the things when I saw that, one of the things that popped into my mind real quick was his back surgery and everything. I was really concerned if it was going to be a problem, but evidently no problem at all.
Yeah, and I appreciate you getting in touch with me. I really appreciated that. He is in perfect condition. He is, as any normal person would be with their back, that he's 100%. So I don't have to worry any more about him than, anybody else that's out there racing. He's phenomenal. The surgeons there, we've already been in contact with several families. One is a racing family as well, that's looking into it. So it was a hard road, but he healed fast and couldn't wait to get back in his car. That's all I wanted to do was hit the track.
I know he was chomping at the bit to get back in the car. I talked to him a couple times. I know he was ready to go when it was time to go.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I wanted to say, so Jacob, the very, very first race that we were in, and it was at Langley, and we met Jacob. He was one of the very first kids that we met. And so we have definitely followed him and enjoyed all of his successes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, he's done really well in spite of his mom.
Oh my gosh.
He's a good mom. Come on.
I just call it the way I see it. I mean,
Go ahead, Jim.
So, Brandy, do you get it? I mean, do you worry about injuries and stuff like that? I mean,
Well, I do, but I know they're safe. They're safe. I mean, when he got T-boned at Dominion, he played 2 baseball games the next day.
I mean, if you look at like the guys that have getting hurt lately, they're not getting hurt in their stock car. I mean, they're getting hurt outside in something else.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that just says that how safe, the sport really is.
I mean, it still scares me.
Oh, mothers constantly ask me, how can you let your child get in that vehicle? And I'm like, how can you let your child play football? Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, they're probably much worse.
It is.
I think they're more protected in a race car than they are playing football. Honestly,
I mean, the football's cheaper.
Oh yeah, football's cheaper, but
The cars are safe. We make sure he has all the best safety equipment, and I feel safer with him driving in a race car than in a couple of years when he's old enough to get his license out on the highway with everybody on their cell phone. I may make him wear his helmet when he first gets his driver's license.
Yeah.
well,
or people who look at the cameras and back into stuff.
well, at least teach him how to back up because his mama can't back up.
Well, I learned my lesson.
Maybe I haven't heard that story. You'll have to tell me that one.
I rely heavily on my backup beeper, and it was turned off once, Heather. And I was listening for it, and it never came on.
So she wasn't close to
I
anything.
may or may not have backed into something.
Or Scott.
So anyway, Atlas' dad says there was no driving skills coming from here.
No, Allie does not get it from me.
Now, do you guys ever have thought about like getting in the car like she does?
Oh yeah.
Have you?
I want to race him. No, I do. I want to race Jacob. I've said it. I said it in the Bandos. I said it in the Legend. Not this one though.
Well,
I want to.
that would,
I think the moms should get out there. I think that would be awesome.
I think they ought to have a mom's race. I really do.
They used to. Was it Powder Puff? Or
Yeah.
they used to do it.
Really?
Ricky's
And then
mom
there
did
is,
it.
yeah.
Really?
Oh, I think we need to do that again.
You need to bring the
I don't
moms.
think anybody want to get on the track with Brandy, but other than that, everybody
No, I'd be slow, honestly. I probably would. I'm the right hand lane driver on that interstate.
she tells us all that now. That
Yeah, right. Just be run somebody over on the
Yeah.
track.
Yeah.
Now did y'all ever? I mean, yours story's probably different. Ever? I guess you probably thought he was going to go racing, being Ricky raced, and Jacob's probably going to. I mean, you.
So Allie's a first generation racer. Nobody in our family has raced. This is all a new environment to us. But
You regretting it yet?
No, and you know what? He was born with the passion, the drive, the interest in it, and when we saw how passionate he was and how much he loved it, it's really hard to say no to that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. If I had a child that wanted to race, mine did, but I was not in the position at that point. But I mean, that would be the cool thing. I mean, I think I would love to see him race. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I mean, this is and on top of all that, it is a really good family atmosphere
It is.
for the most part. I
We
mean,
spend a lot of time together, a lot of time in the car, a lot of time on the road, a lot of time at practice, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
so, I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, with everybody's family atmosphere, even with Brandy part of it, and
Damn, Brandy, you're getting it everywhere.
Leave her alone.
Thank you.
Talk about a family atmosphere. When we were just at New River, and gosh, how many hamburgers and hot dogs and tables of food that we had out there.
Yeah,
They out their grill, and
our racing family has picnics and everybody brings food and everybody makes sure everybody's fed and has a cold drink.
But I have a question. The team, how does that work though when you're racing your teammate?
you just race clean. Races
Are
clean.
you still, all of you are racing to win, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I never understood teams. I didn't, especially if you're on the same.
We take
I don't think there's team orders, or I wouldn't think there would be team orders per se.
Because like I think of the carts, because someone has to be in the front, and you're going.
Well, that's
in
a
three.
different-
Well, that's a different, yeah,
When the wings
because you
up
can't do it
together,
by
you mean?
yourself.
Mhm.
In the wing champs, you have to have somebody else. You can't do it. You
Right,
can't
so it's
do
like
it by
that one
yourself.
person's always winning.
Well, it depends on how many cars are in that pack, and then who's teammates with who or who's friends with who. Because if you're leading and your friend's second, then maybe he won't try to pass you. Or if there's two teammates behind you, you're sitting up. I mean,
and speaking of the family and the racing family, when one of these kids wins, to see everybody come out, I mean,
yeah.
to see everybody come down and all the other kids come down and everybody's down there, even Brandy. I mean, they do let her come down every now and then too. But
Oh, Jody's on.
I still can't figure out why you keep giving Brandy such a hard time.
Because Brandy's an easy target. We love Brandy. That's
Yeah.
why
you have to understand her to see, just,
Brandy, do you have those koozies for sale?
I can make you some. No, but it is a really good family. I mean, when Jacob went that first race, we raced at Dominion, the car was totaled. Ricky had to build a brand new car in 7 days. Spencer Saunders gave us a door. There was no doors to be found. Who we were racing against helped us to be able to race. I mean, that's big.
Yeah.
A lot
And
of
that's in
guys-
the racing family, right?
I
a
mean,
lot of guys here will help. I mean,
And y'all had a little rivalry going there
Right,
for a
I
while,
mean,
right? I mean, a pretty good one.
all the guys here will help you. And I mean, I've seen, even some of the late models and modified, these guys, they talk a big game, but yet when something happens, they're out there ready to help. And somebody even tried to help Scott. But there was no helping there. So
You're not the only one.
did you see where Shane
I bet you're
Saunders?
enjoying this.
Do you see where Shane Saunders said if you were in a race, you would probably have to stop and ask for directions?
All right, I'll put him in the wall. Just kidding.
Yeah, that would be cool. Now, they'll do it with Aiden and Attley and Jacob. If y'all were racing against them,
I don't know.
do you think you would put him in the wall?
Yes, I would race him. I wouldn't put him in the wall, but I would race him. I wouldn't let him win.
What if he put you in the wall?
He probably would.
Now in the
Attley would not put you in the wall. You're so sweet.
Nah, he's too nice. Oh no!
Oh, look at his face! Look at his face!
He's like for the W. I'm not
I don't know
sure.
how much competition I would be. Driving is not my thing.
Well,
I like being a passenger.
we would-
I
That's what your
enjoy
husband-
being-
that's what your
I enjoy being
husband
a
said.
passenger.
But Cassie, we would get them on the lap when they lap us.
Okay.
That's when we would get them.
That's what Noah Braxton said. He's like, he's been laughing me twice a race, and I got 2 opportunities to get him back.
and with Aiden, with his love of the sport and everything, I see it in Attley with everything that he's involved in, and I think with Aiden's involvement in sport, it really benefits him to be in that situation.
How do you mean?
He benefits from being in the racing and getting into being in the competition and everything. I've seen a lot of growth in him from the first time I ever watched him on there. There's a lot of growth.
Definitely. When you go, we were the 4th practice that we'd had, and we were at Wake and totaled the car. 4th practice, So I don't know whose nerves were more rattled. Mine, I think mine, but you know, to be the fourth time on the track and your car is totaled, I think it takes a lot to get back in it and keep going. He is very strategy driven, and it's he's trying to be a little more aggressive, you know, not be the gentleman on the track. I'm like, if you want to be a gentleman, there's other sports, you know, polo. So he does. He loves it. I think one of the most amazing things that I have seen in him is when there are accidents in front of him, he doesn't panic. I've seen him get through so many accidents. He doesn't slam on his brake, but then as soon as he's around it, all he wants to do is get out of the vehicle to see how the other person is. And we're on the mic going, stay in the vehicle, don't get out.
He was like, I mean, he got out to check on that in that last wreck. He got out and checked on them real quick. I mean, it shows his concern for them. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, he does. He cares about the people around him, and I think that's the hardest part for him is not him being in an accident. It's him seeing an accident or being a part of one, and he's so concerned about the other person. You know, he's right there.
Well, I mean, that's got to be a tough spot. I mean, I know you guys have been in this when you get in a wreck with your friends, right? Can be a tough dynamic. In the Dylan Spain, has that happened with you guys, or in the group? And how does that handle this? Because this is a big team,
right? Well, I mean, he and Cassie were in There's been 2 accidents. There was one last year, and then the really big one this year, and they get out. If they can hug it out, they do it right then. Unfortunately, with the larger one, that wasn't the case. But we're on the phone, we're texting, we're finding out how they're doing on a daily basis, and they, they just work together. Things happen. It's not intentional, and they know that. It's just, it just happens. Some stuff just happens.
Well, one thing you mentioned a few minutes ago about, you got to be a little more aggressive or whatever in this sport. And if you want to be nice, go somewhere else and do something different. I talked to a couple drivers this weekend down here, the younger guys, the younger drivers.
Uh-huh.
And I heard a couple of them say, I'm getting tired of being pushed around. I've been nice, but I'm getting a little tired of this. And I'm waiting to see the paybacks coming. That's what so I mean, it ain't all peaches and cream sometimes.
Yeah, and aggressiveness doesn't mean you're out to get someone. It's just driving harder, and that's just, they all have to do that. You can't just sit back and let everybody go around you. You have to pull out and race, and that's the whole point.
Now I'm gonna ask this question here. This is a good one, and I'm gonna go to Cassie first, and then we'll go to Heather, and we'll say Brandy for last, because I think I know how this is gonna work. But anyway, when you see ATLEY out on the racetrack or AIDEN on the racetrack, and his temper gets to him, how do you and your husband handle his, I can't see ATLEY getting a whole lot upset. I
loved it.
ATLEY gets upset at himself. He's very hard on himself. So he'll get out of the car and already start deciding what he needs to do different next time, or what he could have done or should have done, and how he can do something different. So he's as far as being hard on somebody, I would say he's hard on himself. He obviously has a lot of patience, but sometimes you can lose patience with repetitive situations and things like that. But he's learning to take a deep breath and not talk about anything or reflect on his performance until after he's watched a replay. And he's gotten really good about that. And he'll say, I would like to watch it first and then talk about it. He's really hard on himself, but we encourage him, and he's very interested in film study. So he tries to watch it first before he decides if he should do something different or if somebody else should have done something different.
What about Aiden? With Attley and Aiden, I don't see them getting upset and mad and taking it out on the racetrack too much. Now with Jacob, I can see that because if you look at his mama, you can tell where that may go. But go ahead. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh gosh, you are giving her such a hard time. No, Aiden, he's very much like Attley. He is so hard on himself. He gets out of the car and you think he's growling. Takes his stuff off. He doesn't want to look at you. He goes into the trailer and he wants to be by himself to contemplate what has happened. He plays it over and over in his head. And I'm one of those that come in first and say, okay, well, what went right? What worked? Okay, so that we can remember to do that next time. Also, that's important. And then, you think about instantly what you wished you would have done differently and then going back. But he gets really mad at himself, and everybody knows, let's leave Aiden alone for about 10 or 15 minutes. Because he gets upset.
Well,
I mean, they all do.
If you're going to be in the sport, you're going to get upset. I mean,
You need to be passionate.
yeah. And it's like somebody told me one time before, why would somebody go stick a microphone in somebody's mouth after they done had a crash or whatever and not expect to get yelled at or something along those lines?
That's good TV.
Yeah.
Right.
It's entertainment.
That's exactly what it is. They know when to do that. They got to get that great shot. Yeah.
So Brandy, do you jump on Jacob when he gets upset on the racetrack? Or?
I've only seen him get upset once, and I'm proud of him for that. He did the right thing. He didn't fight. He voiced his opinion, and it's fine now. And I think you have to do that. I think you have to make it known what is right and what is wrong, how you feel at that moment. I'm proud of him for what he did.
So do you after a race, do you and him discuss
No.
a certain
I don't really talk to him after the race. No, because he usually is pretty good and level-headed. I mean, he's pretty humble. He truly is. I mean, it takes a lot for him to get upset.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a lot. He's dealt with a lot, and I think he's held himself together. And what happened a couple weeks ago, like I said, I back him 100%. I missed it all too.
I mean, he was kind of one of those people that I was talking with down there that said a little pushing around is getting a little bit monotonous at times. I mean, so I can understand that.
I think the legends helped him with that because he raced with, pretty much grown men.
Right.
You have to, when you're on that track, if you act like a man, you have to be prepared to be treated like one.
Yeah.
And you have to stand up for yourself. You cannot let them push you around because you're young.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it helped him. I don't think it's
a double-edged sword, right?
Right.
I mean,
Cassie, how much do you spend talking with Attley about the races that he's in and been in or whatever? Do you have any times where you sit down and, all right, hey, what do you do here? What'd you do here? Why you?
I'm very involved in those conversations. Before every race, after practice, after qualifying, after the race. There's definitely a dialogue that goes on.
Well, I mean, I noticed the other day when I was sitting back there in the back, you were right there when he got out of the car. You were there. You and your husband were there talking with him and everything. I thought that was really cool that, you were standing there. You were part of that. You knew what's going on.
He and I are very similar. So I think sometimes I can imagine what's going on or going through his head. So that helps. Not always. Sometimes being too similar isn't always good, but
Sometimes he's like dad instead.
yeah.
That's when you don't know what's going on inside his head.
Yeah.
Stay in the stands.
So with Ricky when Ricky used to race, how close is Jacob to how Ricky used to race? I mean,
I think he's, if not better, close to it. I really do. Because Ricky was a good driver. I mean, he was a clean driver. He was not a dirty driver. But he let you know if you did something. I wouldn't say got you back. I mean, he won a race. Mark Claire sideways. He went across the finish line sideways because Mark Claire was doing him sideways all through the finish line. But Jacob is just like him. That's all Ricky Derrick.
Now, going back to like these kids are racing with their friends, right? They're going to get in a wreck. They're going to run into each other. How tough is that to deal with? Or do you just let the kids handle it amongst themselves? You know, because obviously there's a lot of people here, and there's a lot of I think people that's been in the sport a long time understand it's going to happen, and it's okay, and it's okay to be upset too. You know, I mean, that's part of the sport. I mean, if we didn't care, it wouldn't be no fun, right? How tough is that, or especially because we're all friends, right? I mean, we're a big family, and then you kind of get in a fight with your family.
Well, it works for family. I mean,
I think if we let them actually handle it, it's going to be fine because they're still kids.
Mm-hmm.
They don't hold grudges probably as much as we do.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
well, it's like everything else. I see it in baseball with my grandson playing baseball. I see it with him, how the parents are more volatile, more upset than the kids are. The kids don't. They go with it. They roll with it, and parents get a little upset about things. And you know, I've tried not to be that way, but sometimes I do voice my opinion too. I'm not bad at Brandy, but I try.
Brandy.
Well, that's why when that happened, the last race, Ricky was nowhere near Jacob because that's up to Jacob. Mm-hmm. When the crew gets involved, that's when you get the fights and all of that other stuff. When the drivers talk, there's usually nothing more than just that.
Yeah, and it was great to see the camaraderie down there.
It's just.
And then he wins, and you have Cody and Riley and all these guys come to the victory lane.
Oh, and they were. I mean, to be honest, because I was down there at Tech when those kids got out of the car, they were so excited to run over to victory lane to congratulate him, and that is fun to see.
Cool. I mean, I have goosebumps. It's pretty cool just to watch it happen.
I mean, and it really is. And I think we all enjoy it because we've seen these kids for a few years, and obviously we know their parents, or they're long lines in the sport, and it's fun to see all these kids care about each other and want to see each other. I mean, they want to beat each other, but they also want to see the other one succeed.
But I like it because in the bandos they did it, and it just keeps going. So I'm hoping it keeps going to late models, and because you don't see it in late models, you don't really see it much.
No,
guys, you don't. But I think it's still going. Like they've been doing this since bandos. They have gone to every victory lane picture with the bando driver, and it just keeps going and going.
Well, I mean, and I hope it develops into that along the way. And Scott and I sit here. Well, I do. I'm sure Scott does too. We sit and look at these kids. Aiden, every time Aiden does something, I'm checking it out. And Attley, when he's racing, I'm checking everything he's doing. And Jacob, I have a blast watching him sometimes when he gets involved in, and it's really cool to see. And I'm glad to see that the parents are very actively involved in it and keep them on the straight and narrow.
Right. They're not on the street, right? They're not running the streets,
Yeah, there could be worse places for these kids to be.
Absolutely.
At least they're not street racing. We've got a lot of that going on in Raleigh, and our cars aren't built for that. Our streets aren't built for that. We've got tracks, so yeah, we've had some issues with street racers here. So Aiden really doesn't even care that he doesn't have his license yet, and I keep pushing him. Okay, anytime now, you can go test and get it.
Jacob hasn't done it either.
What kid wants to drive a regular car though? So
let's take the test.
How old is he?
And Shane Snyder just put on here that the kids are selling the tickets at these races.
That's 100%.
And if it wasn't for these kids, Aiden and Attley and Jacob and Riley Music and Cody Bryant and all these kids that are developing, and they've all developed. If it wasn't for them, the sport would go down. But believe it or not, people come to see them just as much as they see these late model guys.
Oh, 100%.
So 100%. I think it's a great thing.
Well, that's how Aiden got into it. We didn't even know we had a track. My husband and I had been here, 15 years before we even knew about it. And some friends told us, you know, Aiden loving cars. We went out there and he saw a Bando race, not even understanding the age with that group. And he saw a kid get out of the car in Victory Lane. And he said, oh, well, I want to do that. And a year later he was, you know, we had to make sure he was really going to do it, because that's a big investment. You know, when your child goes, oh yeah, I want to race. Let's start doing that tomorrow. But a year later, and it was all about, we went to Wake County and saw someone young jump out of the Bando, and that's what got it started.
Heather, with Aiden and ATLEY and Jacob, really, but when they come and said they're ready to start racing, and you get involved in the racing, do you see them continuing on, or do you see this being just part of their time, and you know that they like doing this? You see them moving on to other things with racing.
You know, it's just experiences, the opportunity to have a different life experience, and you come in contact with so many people. I mean, I know Aiden will do something in the industry, whether it's design or racing or something in the industry itself. I just, you know, hope he stays in the U.S. and doesn't take off to Europe. But so I know that aspect of it, and he's learned from so many people and their interests. Just some of the kids. We had a drifter came out last year to Wake, and he's always interested in how people drive, what they do, what their interests are, what they're doing this summer as, you know, jobs. So who's to know what each one is going to end up doing down the road? But I'm just glad they're doing something that they love.
And ATLEY, I mean, he's got all kinds of things going on, man. You know.
Yes, he does.
Another year or two, we ain't gonna have a show left.
He ain't getting my show. I might have him come in and take your place.
I think he may be a little bit nicer.
He does. He loves it.
ATLEY has done a phenomenal job. I love listening to him, and the fact, I remember you telling me that he takes the lists of the drivers. He knows everything about every driver, how they've been doing, what they've been up to, how far they've come. So when he gets in front of that microphone, he knows what he's talking about, hands down.
What did you do? Where did you go that you were in the booth with
New River.
Wesley?
New River.
New River?
Yeah.
I mean, I was listening to that.
Yep.
He was on there, and he's right on with everything.
You never thought that was a kid, right?
No, you wouldn't. I mean, you would never understand it. Hey, he's just the young guy just doing this. I mean, and I tell you what, you can't have a better person to work with than Brian White.
Yeah, I really like him.
Yes.
He's a really good guy.
If you're up here in the booth and you're working with Brian
I
White,
think he's the best we've had.
and I've watched him, and I've had to go in there with him a couple times and call a race with him, but he knows everything, and that's the way I see you are. You seem to be that same way.
I know you see him talking. He's got his book and he's got thumb tabs out. And I'm
Yes.
like, I don't even know what the hell's going on. I'm just running my mouth.
He does his homework. He loves being behind the wheel, and he wants to climb that ladder for as far and long as he can go. And he also wants to jump out of the car and be on the mic and provide that perspective as a driver, announcing and, you know, calling the action too. Some people have asked, well, you have to decide, or if you have to decide, which one are you going to choose? And he says, I choose to do it all. And I think that that's a good lesson, even to adults that have a dream that they don't think they can do because they have to pick only one thing or one thing or another. I think if you can do both and you do your homework and you work hard at it, you can do both. You can do anything you want to do. He makes straight A's in school, and he studies hard at racing, but also studies and works hard at everything.
You go ahead.
Do they have more hours in the day than we do? Because I don't know how the kids do it
I don't know either. I think they have more hours in a day for sure.
Yeah.
Now, what do you see Jacob down the road? Do you see him?
I think after him starting in this division, I can see him wanting to go farther. I knew he'd be good. I just didn't think he'd be that good right away. I think the sky's the limit. He can go how far he wants to go.
Yeah, I mean, in the Legends, as good as he did, as quick as he did. I mean, I was impressed.
The other night, I mean, that was just totally impressive to lead every lap of the race. I mean, that was.
I mean, Jack would love to lead one lap. I mean,
this is what I have to deal with.
Payback.
When racing becomes the big commitment it is
it
for the families, how tough is it on you all for this commitment that you have to, and then you have other things. I mean, I know Jacob's baseball.
He's not doing baseball now, but he was, yeah.
I mean, you know, that's what other interests do they have other than racing? I mean, you know, is that what their main focus and everything is on racing?
Mine is, yeah.
Well, we know what Atley does.
For the most part, you know, he started in a lot of different things. He still plays tennis and tries to stay physically active to keep his fitness up for the racing and things like that. But more and more time has gone towards racing because that's the thing he's most passionate about. But I think kids have to try a lot of different things, baseball and different things, to know for sure what they do and don't like. You don't know unless you try different things. And then when you find one thing that you love more than anything, that's how you know that's it.
Yeah.
That's what is meant for you, you know? So yeah, he tried different things. He's played basketball, tennis, plays the piano, different things, but 80-90% of it is racing for sure.
Why didn't you play
I was
piano?
getting ready to say that too.
I used to take lessons,
Mhm.
but the racing, I just kind of lost the passion for it.
Yeah.
Now, Aiden, what up? I mean, we know about the drones and everything he does with that. I mean, does he have other interests that he, you know, kind of diverts him from racing sometimes?
No. Something else. He licensed as a scuba diver when he was 10.
Gee,
So, you know, we don't get to dive as much as we'd like to in North Carolina because I want, you know, the clear water with all of the, you know, pretty stuff to see. I'm not a wreck diver, but he did. He's certified at 10. So, you know, we try to dive a couple times a year. He all about the outdoors, really into biking, but that's more fall. Sometimes we try not to miss races. I find it really interesting when people say, "Oh, what are you going to do this summer? You know, what's the family vacation?" I said, "We're going to New River. We're going to Charlotte for vacation."
What vacation? What summer vacation?
Yeah, that's why it's great that it's so family. You're doing something together. It's really incredible. So, yeah, that's kind of the vacation time throughout the year. And Aiden's grandparents get really involved. Maggie's out there. Jody's mom is out there all the time.
yeah.
I know, and I think about like how we did it back in the day. I don't know when Ricky was driving. Was it every weekend? I know when I helped in late models back in the day, it was every
I
weekend.
feel like it was a lot
I mean, it
more
was-
than now.
It was never alternating classes. Every class raced every weekend. I mean, and I don't know how we did it, but we did it, and it wasn't.
And we were here till 1, 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And nobody complained.
Yeah.
I complain all the time now. The whole 5 o'clock like spoiled us.
Yeah, the
I
5
know.
o'clock thing did.
I was surprised that I figured they'd be complaining about it, but I was
It's
surprised when
amazing.
somebody posted and it was like, I already missed the 5 o'clock and the race hadn't even started yet, you know.
It was
But I
nice.
thought it was a good idea.
I mean, it was really cool to see people get out of here and be home 9, 10 o'clock at night, or leaving here at 9, 10 o'clock instead of being here till early in the morning.
Yeah.
So-
I'm sure it's a busy day.
And people like Aiden, y'all have a trip everywhere you go. Just
Yeah.
about, you have a little bit of a trip to make.
Yeah, and because
Wayne County.
we get started later at Wake, it's always a late night. You know, even when we're at Wake, by the time we get home and settle down, it's 1 a.m. Sometimes when we go like to New River or other areas, we're getting home kind of the same time as when we raced at Wake, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how the tickets that the 5 o'clock affected the ticket sales. Was it better or the
I feel like
same?
people stayed longer.
Mhm.
Well, it's like the other
Stayed
night. It
there.
was like the other night. The minute that second late model race was
Yeah.
over, this
Yeah.
place emptied. I mean, there was nobody here for the enduros at all.
But when they raced the first race, the first weekend, everyone stayed for the enduros. I mean, it
Did they?
was full.
Mm.
Yeah.
They even made comments. I think Mike Canary made a comment about how he looked in the stands. It was cool to see all those people in there.
It was. It was really cool that we had everybody's involvement at that point.
Yeah. I mean, it's something to think about. I mean, I know at the end of the last month of the season, it's going to be 5 o'clock too.
All right, when we going to see Aiden at Langley? You know, I'm waiting on you to get here.
I know, me too. So we've got some dates that we've got planned, and I mean, his first year we were at Langley and Dominion consistently, and I mean, Langley was his first race, so it's kind of home away from home, and we miss seeing all the kids that we met in Virginia. So I think you'll be seeing us very soon.
Well, that's good. We'll be glad to have you back and come up here. I can't wait because I haven't actually met Aiden yet. I mean, you know.
I know. Can you believe it?
So
Yeah.
Really?
I have not
Never
met him
met him?
face to face.
Oh,
No.
man.
I've talked to him through this. I've talked to him text messages, but I've never met him face to
Were
face.
you out here when he raced?
I was here, but I probably didn't even
I
go
don't think you
over
had
that
the
way.
show.
Oh yeah, we've had
Yeah,
a
we
show
were.
for over 8 years.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been here
I don't
for
remember it.
4 or
8
5
years.
years.
No, it's 8 years.
Well, I'm
Well, we've
saying
been here. Yeah, we've been here about 5
Oh.
years.
I mean, I feel like I've known Jack forever. I'm still waiting on, the big bear hug and everything else.
Yeah, I mean,
You're not missing anything.
I was waiting for Brandy to agree with her, and
I'm on his side now.
well, I appreciate all three of you being here tonight. This has really been fun. I mean, I've enjoyed it to have the mothers here of race car drivers because they are the backbone. And most importantly, happy Mother's Day to all three of you. I mean,
Thank
really-
you.
Thank you.
And hope you have a great one.
So, all kinds of brownie points, Jack.
Huh? Oh, Brandy likes me. Yeah, you can say what you want to. I mean, I mean, she had people down there trying to tell me the other night she was a good person.
Was she paying?
Phenomenal. Come on.
Oh, we were walking. I was walking down. That was when I was going over to eat. I was walking down through there, and Brandy said had some friend of hers with her, and she
She
said,
had friends?
"Tell him I'm a good person, and I'm going to be on my best behavior."
She's been good tonight.
She's been, aw.
Tell me about it.
Wait till we turn the camera off. It'll be a whole nother world here after that.
She's going to get you.
Anyway,
But don't turn the camera off. Let's just pretend.
no, I've done that. No, we're going
like
to
to
turn
see
the
that.
camera off because I didn't turn it off one time and it didn't work very well.
Shane wants to know what's for dinner. I think we got some leftover pizza.
Oh, that sounds good.
Y'all are on your own, Shane.
So anyway, thank you, Heather, for being with us, and I hope to see you soon. And we appreciate you giving us some time tonight. Thanks a lot.
Oh, gosh, I was looking forward to it.
Thank you. We really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Take care, dear. Bye, guys.
And Cassie, thank you for coming and being
You
here.
gonna do driver of the week?
Oh yeah, forgot about that. Driver of the week. Thank you for bringing that up. Driver of the week this week is Addison Schumann. I mean, she only had about 50 votes compared to everybody else. Jacob did pretty good though. He was second.
Well, he asked me, he's like, why didn't you vote for me? I was like, I just was yesterday. I was like, if you want me to make it happen, I can. He's like, yeah, I'm good. I didn't even vote for him.
Hey, you're exactly right. You can make it happen. No, that is. Anyway, we thank all three of you for being here. Happy Mother's Day. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you all next week.
Thank you. Take care, guys.